Hey Movie Guide, it's me Kaylee, and we are here inside the Museum of Tolerance to celebrate a new movie, BAEHR, Artists at War. So come with us as we talk to the stars and the filmmakers. Can you tell us a little bit about your character and who this man was?
He was a guy, he was an artist and a humorist and a very, very funny fellow, as one of the characters in the movie calls him. And he fell in love in a concentration camp with Rebecca, who became Rebecca Bao. And the film really celebrates their love story. And in the darkest of times, they were still able to find each other and find hope and love and things that are good in times of things that are bad.
I absolutely love this movie. I find it so inspiring, but also really challenging. While portraying Joseph, were there moments in Joseph's life that's depicted in the film that challenged your way of thinking or your approach to life?
I was moved by his optimism because it's so easy, when you're in hard times to kind of go get sucked down the drain of hopelessness and despair. And for me to play the character that doesn't succumb to that and continues to find that resiliency within himself, that was something that was inspiring and fun and the kind of thing in the role that I wanted to take a piece of that with me. I wanted to hold on to those qualities that Joseph exemplified.
Why do you think this movie is relevant to today?
I think any time there's love and hope and light conquering darkness, I think that's something that is no matter when, it will always be relevant. We always need more of it.
Was there any scene in particular that was challenging for you emotionally or even physically?
A lot of the scenes in the camp, when, not to give anything away, but certain people that are close to me are murdered, and those types of scenes are always challenging. You're putting yourself in the perspective of someone, and it's hard to imagine the awfulness that so many people go through.
Now, this role seems different from the other roles that you've played. What was your approach to getting into the mind of Joseph?
I think I really leaned on the humor. I tried to find the comedic voice of Joseph, and a lot of that, there was a lot of joke writing that was going on behind the scenes at all times with the writers and the producer and the director. There was just we were constantly trying to find the angle of, this guy was funny and he was disarming, but how was he funny and how was he disarming, and why would this type of joke work in this type of circumstance to get these people to feel a certain way or to convince people of what he believed.
The movies like this inspire so many conversations that go beyond the screen. What conversation do you hope that people will have after watching this movie?
I hope people are happier and better people once they see this movie. And I think that's the conversation I want people to have, is how can we be better people? How can we live in the light more? And I think that's something that will always be in need.
This is the most important interview ever, right here.
I love that. Love that. You're a Movie Guide favorite.
Yes, I am.
So, first off, I love the movie. Congratulations on the film. It was absolutely incredible. What drew you to this story?
I love to make inspirational movies. I've made Soul Surfer, Miracle Season, and so forth. And when I found a story that had a true love story that was in the Plaszow concentration camp with the couple that was in Steven Spielberg's Schindler's List, and we got to make that movie. So I first met the daughters, and I was like, oh my God, because of their love and resilience, these two daughters were born and are in the world, and we can continue with the story that needs to be told. So that's what made me fall in love with the story.
Now, this movie, with how beautiful it is, I'm sure was very challenging to make. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced when either in pre-production or while filming?
Well, one of the big challenges we had is we were shooting in Poland when COVID hit. And all of a sudden we had to shut down. We all had to come back to the United States. And, we thought it was going to be maybe 2 weeks and it was going to come back. But actually, it went on for years. And then luckily, we got the band back together and we went and we shot the whole movie up in Vancouver, and it was amazing.
It is absolutely amazing. Now, this film is very, very inspiring, but also really challenging. You don't walk away from this movie unchanged. Is there a moment or any parts of this film that really challenged the way you live or your approach to life?
Well, I truly believe that miracles happen no matter what. That's an important part of my life, and you have to look for them. You can choose to not see miracles, or you can choose to see there's miracles all around us every moment, every day. And so when you do that, the world's a little bit sunnier, and that's a kind of a theme in our movie. You know, will you be my sunshine? Will you try to look for the better things in life and the joy in life? And when you look for that, things start to happen better.
Like you mentioned, there were so many miracles that happened in the movie. Were there any miracles that happened behind the scenes that got you guys through the difficult times that you guys faced?
Well, this whole movie is a bunch of miracles. Like I said, we got through COVID, and then we finished the film. And then when October 7th hit, people didn't want to put it out. And luckily, I found the guys over at Showbiz Direct, and they said, we still want to do it theatrically. And they came on board, and boom, we were ready to go.
That's amazing. Now, this movie is going to spark so many conversations beyond just the screen. What's one conversation, maybe topic or something that you hope people have after seeing this movie?
Well, I think, like I said, when I started it, I thought I was making about a tale for something that happened 80 years ago. And then October 7th happened, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's happening again today. There's anti-Semitism everywhere. We need to have conversations. We need to show what people go through so we don't forget how bad it can get.
And as so many Holocaust survivors, we're unfortunately losing them to just age. Did you guys feel that weight and responsibility when you were depicting Bao's life?
Yeah, well, again, the survivors they're definitely getting up there, but their children are alive and well, and the ones that Joseph Bao saved, they have grandkids and they're having kids, so it shows what one or two people can do to save thousands and thousands of lives.
And what's one message or one feeling that you hope audiences take away when they leave seeing this movie?
I think the one message I want audiences to take away is that miracles happen. Even in the worst possible concentration camp of Poland 1944, you can find love and you can have a chance at life afterwards for you and your family.
So I play Dita in the movie. Dita's kind of the little go-between between Rebecca and Joseph, and she's Rebecca's best friend in the camps. That's who I play.
I love that. So stories like Bao often spark conversations beyond the screen. What kind of discussions do you hope that this film will create?
Well, I think this is a classic story of love conquering everything. And right now we're living in such a time of division and hate, just widespread across the world. So I feel like this movie is just really going to bring to light what actually matters in the end. And that's love, that's hope. And yeah, I think that's the conversation that's going to carry on.
I love that. I love that. And this movie, it shows the most beautiful, love story between Joseph and Miranda. I'm like, how did this ever happen?
And it's true too. It's crazy. That's like the most amazing thing about it is it's not fantasized. This fully happened. These people existed. These people found a way to love each other in one of the most unlovable places on earth.
There's so many inspiring things that happen. Is there one moment that really affected you while filming or reading the script that you were like, wow, this is going to affect my life forever?
Honestly, it gave me such perspective on what it was actually like to be in the camps. Like we were filming in Vancouver in the middle of winter, like especially the scenes in the barracks. We were on these wooden slats for 12 hours a day. It was freezing. So we were like, wow, this is really uncomfortable. This is horrible. But in between takes, they brought in food and they brought in our coats and we had these creature comforts that obviously these people didn't have. So it just gave me a little more perspective than I would have, if I hadn't done this film on what it was actually like. And that will stick with me forever.
Now, there were many miracles and crazy things that happened in the true story.
And honestly, we didn't even get into all the miracles that Joseph and Rebecca encountered throughout their life, throughout their, time in the Holocaust. We barely scraped the surface. Like, these people are storybook people. So the things that are in the movie are like, surface level. There's so many more amazing things that happen with these people. And yeah, it's just incredible.
Is there anything that the fans would love to know or would be surprised to hear that happened behind the scenes?
What happened behind the scenes? Honestly, no. Everything that happened behind the scenes is very much on the film. Everyone got along beautifully. Okay, I guess that's the surprise. Jan, who plays the bad guy in the movie, the main Nazi, he is an absolute sweetheart. He's a doll. We had so much fun together. We actually have pictures of us like hugging when he's in his SS uniform and I'm in my little prisoner uniform. And we're like, yeah, we probably can't share these because this is just like a bad look. But that's the thing that's surprising. He's a wonderful, wonderful teddy bear. Yeah.
And what's one message that you hope audiences take away when they leave the theater?
Love conquers all, and love will always find a way.
Can you tell us a little bit about your role in this movie?
Yes, I play a real person named Yitzhak Stern, who worked for Oskar Schindler as his accountant and was responsible for compiling Schindler's List, the famous Schindler's List. Stern was the one that recorded and chose and decided who was going to be saved.
Now, this movie, it's so inspiring, but also really, really challenging. Were there any moments in this movie that challenged the way you thought or your approach to life?
I mean, rather than challenging, it was amazing to play real people and portray a real story. So there's materials that you can immerse yourself in to learn about these people. And Yitzhak Stern, there's not so much known about him. There's a little bit, a lot of the stories are about how he was like a real, someone that people could rely on, someone that had a very high moral backbone, and that was nice to be able to play like a good person, light amidst this darkness.
Yes. Now, this movie is going to inspire so many conversations. Are there any what were the conversations like on set while you guys were filming and in the making of this movie?
I mean, so many. One thing, we talked about the fact that the movie is quite funny. There's a lot of comedy in it, and that's a fine balance, right? Because especially Joseph Bao was always, part of his charm was the fact that he was always kind of joking amidst this. You can't. It's like you hear stories of sadness, and the way that people maintain their humanity is by laughing about it. So trying to find that fine balance of finding the moments that are truly heartbreaking and terrible, and it's all around you, but when can you laugh about it? When can you find a moment to connect with people, comedically?
Exactly. Now, this movie, it, like I said, is going to spark so many conversations beyond the screen. What's a conversation that you hope this movie starts when people leave?
I mean, I saw some stat about Gen Z not believing the Holocaust happened, not believing the numbers, not believing, it's shocking to me because we still have survivors. I mean, sadly, so many of them are very old or passing away. And so the sort of first person accounts are being lost. I mean, luckily we have a lot of Spielberg did the Shoah, and that's a huge amount of interviews with survivors. But, hopefully to keep these stories alive so people don't forget. I'm shocked that people are forgetting.
Yeah, so soon.
So soon, yeah.
So this movie, it's so fascinating. I loved it.
Oh, thanks.
So it goes to the depths of what the reality was of the camp.
Yeah.
It also shows that such love and light in the midst of it.
Yes.
What was your approach like to balancing it? Like, what drew you to the script?
I mean, my family are Jews from Eastern Europe, so doing a movie about this is very close to my heart, and I was so excited to be a part of it. So it wasn't so difficult to be drawn to it. I was immediately drawn to it, and lucky and happy to be a part of it, and happy to tell the story.
What's one message that you hope audiences take away from seeing this movie?
One message.
If there could only be one.
Oh no. Put on a happy face.
Can you tell us a little bit about your involvement with the film?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually co-wrote and sang on the original song from BAEHR, so we're...
So when did you how did you discover the story about the Artist War? How did you get involved?
How did I get involved? So I actually had met Sean McNamara, the director, previously, and he had used some of my music in his other projects. And during the filming of this film, he hit me up and he was like, hey, you want to try writing a song for it? And I was like, okay, yeah, an original song for such an important film. It was a lot of pressure, but I was super excited. And it was really just like a divine inspiration. I got to see an early cut of the film, and there's a scene in which Joseph is talking to Rebecca, proposing to her, and he says, however long forever is, will you share it with me? And instantly I was like, oh my God, that's the song. Like, it just perfectly encapsulated exactly their experience, appreciating every moment, not knowing when it was going to be the last. And it was really important to me that the song spoke to everybody outside of just this project and just their story. But I feel like it's something that everybody can relate to. You never know when that forever love is going to end, and it's just about being there in that moment and loving them fully.
How did you begin to approach capturing Rebecca and Joseph's love story? Because it is so monumentous, and it's something that you think someone has to make up, that it can't happen in real life.
Honestly, I think the key component for that. I was writing with my co-writer and producer, Andrew Furs. We really just tried to like not force it. It's kind of a bad answer, but it's just like you got to let it happen, because the more you try to like add in all the details and all the weight of it, it becomes less inspired and less personal. And so even though I've never been through anything like they have, just kind of speaking from my own personal love experience, and it's interesting how themes of love and relationship stuff, it like, even though it's not the same story or experience, it really all rings true for everyone. So
Tell us a little bit about the movie for someone who doesn't know anything about this story.
Well, the story's about Joseph and Rebecca Bow, who were in the Holocaust camp that was shown in Schindler's List. And the story is so phenomenal because not only were they in love with each other, not only did they have sacrificial love towards making sure the other one survived, he was making sure hundreds to thousands were surviving by his forgeries. He would do forgeries of people's IDs from outside the camp so that if they did get released, they would be able, they escaped the camp many times. It's very interesting how they escaped the camps. But the point is they were able to then come back into society with those forged documents and not be put back in prisons. So, yeah.
That's amazing. And this movie explores art and the darkest of times. How do you think that's relevant to today?
Well, I think today there's so many people that are full of hatred, full of just a venom to want to destroy anybody who doesn't agree with them. And I think that's what we found in this situation in the camps. Joseph Bow was able to forgive. He was able to go on and be willing to accept anyone's life. He didn't believe in destroying anyone else's life so he could survive. But instead, he was into allowing people to live for who they are and yet help encourage them that they could be more.
Now, I'm sure you've done immense research writing this film. Was there one fact or discovery that you made that surprised even you?
Now, I met the daughters back in Israel 16 years ago. So it was a dream of theirs to have the movie made, and I promised them that I would get it made. Well, one surprise to me was that it was so hard to make a movie. That was a big surprise to me. And I think what was really fascinating is that so many people fell in love with this couple that it was able to push through all the difficulties that Hollywood could bring. It united people to come together to tell this story. I'm grateful for it.
I'm very grateful for it. I loved this movie. Now, this movie, it's one that just starts so many conversations. You don't watch this movie and leave unchanged.
Right.
Is there one conversation or one talking point that you hope is people are inspired to talk about, to go home and have this difficult conversations with their families, or one that you really hope starts?
Yeah, I would say the most important aspect of this is to never give up. And I believe faith in God can bring people through the most difficult of times. I went through 8 years of taking care of my husband who had Alzheimer's. And I kept looking back at Joseph and Rebecca's lives and going, if they could get through that, then I can get through this, and I can love on my husband and be the wife I've been called to be, no matter how difficult it was to see him deteriorate. But those are the kinds of things that this movie inspires to keep going.
That's the video. Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check out BAEHR, Artists at War, September 26th. And as always, come back for more videos just like this.